In big text is what is included with an accessible.org audit, and that is screen reader testing, keyboard testing, visual inspection, code inspection. There's also audible inspection, and we even use an automated scan as a review. But make no mistake, this is a 100% fully manual accessibility audit, and it is conducted by a technical accessibility expert. They are grading your digital asset against the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. All right, so in smaller text, I have services that are not included. And sometimes these bullet points are a source of confusion for clients. So let's go over them now. User testing, validation, VPAT ACR, and remediation. These are all separate services that take place outside the technical evaluation. So with user testing, this is where a professional with one or more disabilities is going to relay their experience while going through your digital asset. So here, it's not a technical evaluation, it's an experiential evaluation. And so they're relaying their experience. With validation, this is where we are validating the fixes that your team makes. So if your team makes fixes, that's one thing, but we want to know if the fixes have been made correctly, if they've resolved all of the issues. That's how we get to full WCAG conformance. And the only way that we can be certain of that is if we validate that the issues have been fixed correctly. So there's validation. Usually that involves multiple rounds where some issues still remain outstanding, and then we provide feedback, and then the client's team goes back and works with that feedback. Now, continuing on, I have VPAT ACR. So VPAT is the template that we fill in. ACR is the resulting document. It stands for Accessibility Conformance Report. The two terms are used interchangeably, but what's important here is this is different than an audit. An audit report contains all of the accessibility issues identified on your digital asset. We use the audit report to fill in the VPAT, but the act of filling in the VPAT takes additional time, and it is separate, and there are other considerations when filling in a VPAT. So it's not as simple copying and pasting the audit results. So that is a separate service. And then, of course, remediation is a separate service because remediation is where we are fixing the accessibility issues. And most clients take this on in-house, and that's where the validation comes into play. But these are all separate services. So now we've gone over that graphic. Let's go ahead and tab over to the accessible.org audits page. I'm going to scroll down, and there's just a few additional details I'm going to cover, but I will include this page. I will include a link to this page in the description. As far as audit costs, we have a quick table here. Most clients end up falling between $1,500 and $5,500. And then the turnaround time for an audit is usually under 2 weeks. So we usually get it in under 2 weeks. It may take up to 2 weeks, maybe even 3 if you have a larger digital asset. That's also partly dependent on how many clients are in the queue. And then the audit is 100% fully manual. And then the technical support hours are what we use for validation. Those are $195 an hour. And then we have all of the available environments that you would want to have if you are being very detailed and you wanted to have the most robust audit possible. But what is usually best for clients and what we recommend is that they go with our default audit environments. And then if they want to add any additional environments because there's something they want to pay particular attention to, then they can do that. All right, so I'm going to scroll down. I'm not going to include all of this. One other point here is that our audits cover all types of digital assets. So whether it's a website, one or two web pages, web apps, mobile apps, platforms, learning management systems, software, and the list goes on. We audit all types of digital assets. And I'm just going to continue scrolling down. And then we get to the evaluation methodologies, which I covered most of earlier. And then we have environments. So this is what I talked about is getting into the very specifics. We already have default desktop and mobile environments set. When you get your proposal back, what will happen is you will get a proposal for both a desktop audit and a mobile audit, and a desktop and mobile audit. And so what happens is sometimes clients elect to go with just a desktop because let's say their digital asset is a web app and it's exclusively accessed through a desktop. So there it makes sense to only have a desktop environment. For websites, we always recommend both desktop and mobile, and that is because your audience is accessing your website through both desktop and mobile. But here we have the environments listed out. We have what's included in the audit report, so I'll go through these quickly. Issue description, URL, screen location, specific and element location, testing environment, applicable WCAG success criterion, related code, visual documentation, remediation recommendations, and then any other additional notes. The audit is very thorough. It's very comprehensive. All of the details are here so you can easily identify the accessibility issue, know what the issue is, and then start working on the fix. So the audit report is very helpful, very detailed, and we make it as clear and as plain as possible. And that, by the way, testing environment, I should have said evaluation environment, because I just like to keep the terminology straight. But the audit report is very comprehensive. And then there's a few other details here, but I'm not going to go through those now because I've covered most of it. So I will include the audits page in the description if you need help with an accessibility audit. I will also include a contact page where you can reach me directly. But this is what goes into our accessibility audits. We are very detailed. We are very thorough because we know that clients are relying upon our audit results. So we make sure that we return excellent quality deliverables. So I will include all of these links in the description.